Round 3 of the 2025 European Le Mans Series brings us to Imola and a very hot Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari. The skies actually broke with a huge downpour towards the end of LMGT3, but not before Celia Martin for the Iron Dames Porsche crew put in a cracking time in the middle of the session to take the 85 car, in fact right at the end of the session, to take the 85 car to third fastest. Clément Matter and the 59 Aston Martin for Racing Spirit of Le Mans already with a pole position to his name, and the Swiss squad good enough for second fastest. But then trying to get the time in before the rain arrived, but also a late radiator adjustment issue for the Mercedes meant that this car almost didn't make the session. They're so glad that they did at Iron Lynx Mercedes though, because Martin Berry, the highly talented Australian Singaporean driver, put in another really good time to have a second pole position of the season, and the team so happy with his talents. We then moved on to LMP3. By this time though, the track had to be declared wet because the rain came down in huge amounts. 10 LMP3 cars all duking it out then for road position, and also to try and stay away from the spray from so many of the other cars. M Racing's Canton Antonel in his Ligier in number 68 putting in a decent time with a 1:47.275 to take that car into third fastest, but it wasn't quite good enough compared to Ian Aguilera's effort in the Euro International Ligier number 11. And the 17 crew at CLX Motorsport, another Swiss establishment, they chose not to use Adrian Clomenil. Instead, their young talent from Denmark, Theodor Jensen, also in his teens, and he keeps the string of pole positions going for CLX Motorsport and the number 17 crew. Nicolas Lapierre absolutely ecstatic at that news. More rain then arrived, and we actually couldn't do anything out on track for over an hour, as the safety car driver Pedro Cusera was constantly beaming back information to those in race control. Eventually the LMP2 Pro-Am session did get going, and not without its own drama. Eventually it was red flagged early after Tony Wells had a spin at Aqua Minerale, but this was after a good time from Georgios Kolovos, two Greek drivers in LMP2 Pro-Am this year, and Kolovos perhaps with the best, it is the best qualifying of the year for DKR Engineering. PJ Hyatt threading Spike the Dragon, the Orica through the Variante Alta. Low grip coming out of that corner, but nevertheless the American quick enough to be second fastest in car number 99. But after a stellar year in 2024, Giorgio Roda, remember, getting 5 out of 6 possible pole positions last season. He's had one already in the dry in Barcelona, and he now does it extra special style in the wet, being almost 3 seconds clear of the rest of the field. A dominant display then from the 77 Proton competition driver Giorgio Roda, and with that a bit of local Italian knowledge. We then had to, a quick turnaround for the LMP2s themselves. What was the tyre choice, crucially? Everyone actually on the treaded Goodyear tyre, it turned out, and although I expected Matteo Cairoli to be put into the number 9 Iron Lynx Proton competition car, it was actually Massimo Capietto who for a long time thought he might have got pole position, but for a late effort from Luca Giotto, briefly faster than everybody else for about 5 seconds before Théo Pourchaire, who has struggled in the opening few races, but remember he is the FIA Formula 2 champion from 2023, and Pourchaire on treaded tyres but virtually a bone dry track doing an absolutely awesome lap time to take pole position.